Sebastian, Kawa out on the road. First of all, congratulations on another amazing sailplane Grand Prix win.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm just driving, as you can see, from France through Oldenburg because I had to give back the fantastic glider I got for this competition, the S33, and I hope to be home at midnight.
How long is the drive? Is it a 2-day drive? 2 days on the road?
Yeah, it's 2 days, and especially I had a problem with with my car, so I had to drive slowly with the trailer. Yeah. Now it's a little bit better, but still not very nice.
Well, what an event, what a competition. Maximilian France in third, Mario Germany takes second, and you take another amazing win. What a race. Tell me about that last day.
This is about the Psyche, you know. We both were a little bit stressed. I see Mario Kisling, he was already 8 times in the second place flying with me in competition. So I think in this competition he was a better pilot. So I already admitted it 1 day or 2 days earlier that he flies fantastically, and he knows the area very, very well. And if he wins, I will shake his hand with pleasure and congratulate, because he was very good. But on last day, when we started to fly with normal thermals, I managed to catch up and be in front of Mario. So it put so much stress on him that he tried to do something else. This is the Grand Prix, so it's not enough to be with the goggle. You have to be in front of them. So that's why he tried to fly in a little bit of into the valley. I didn't know what he does, because I couldn't see him for a long time, and he had an impression that we flying along the ridge, we are not climbing very well, and he tried to do something else. Right. And it didn't work. So he had to start an engine, but we didn't know about it. So we were racing to the end.
Incredible. How many wins is that now for you, Sebastian?
I'm not sure. It's probably 16 or something like that, but or 34 in total in on other colors also. Yeah. But for me, this race was a disaster in the end, because not knowing that Mario is already out of the race, I tried to fly as fast as it was possible. And in the last leg, I've been leading. And it was enough for me to maybe slow down and fly straight, maybe take a little bit of a lift, which was probably possibly over the plateau before Sisteron. But I saw several gliders going to the left, to the big thunderstorm, which looked really promising on the west side. And but when we did it, those gliders, they very quickly descended. They lost altitude, and they had to fly through the rain to the airfield, and they didn't complete the task. For me, it was almost the same. We were flying with 3 gliders, Katrin Zene, Bostian Pristavek, and me. They were a little bit higher, and they managed to jump over the Montagne de Lourdes, and I didn't. I had to fly along all the way around it in the rain. I lost about 500 meters, and in Sisteron, on the last turn point, I were very low. I tried a little bit of the ridge, but it didn't work. It was all dead there. And I had to start the engine, so I didn't complete the race either. But I was a 1 point leading before Mario, so it was enough to win the day, win the competition.
And I think it was 2 days before I read one of your posts. You almost had that sensation. You said a few moments ago that you were going to not win the race. How did that feel for you?
I felt comfortably. I said, it's so much stress for us, for both of us, that even if I had to do something else, because otherwise I would be in very bad situation. So I decided to congratulate Mario a little bit earlier already, yeah. But it turned out that it put a lot of stress on him then. So I felt comfortable in that race. I was flying easy. For me, it was easy to overtake gliders. In this competition, we had an awful rule to put the flarms in the open mode, not stealth, not competition mode, but we were forced to do it in open mode. Then everybody knows where is everybody.
Yeah.
Who is climbing, who is descending, and most of the pilots, they just follow each other. And so it is easy to make your own decision in this situation, because when everybody follows the leader, you may jump a little bit to the left, to the right, and try something else. And that was easy. So they called me sometimes Pac-Man, because there was a chain of gliders and I was just eating them on the way to finish line. Yeah. Sometimes it was enough, sometimes it didn't. So I'm not used to fly with this. I'm not very specialized in flying with flarms and looking what the others do. So I look at the sky, I look at the cloud, and try to find my own way. But there was also one day when we had no choice, because when it's blue and you know that there is an open flarm, there's no other way. You have to fly with others. There's absolutely no chance. And there was a good example of very brave. I have to admit that there were maybe 3 pilots making very stupid sometimes, but very brave things. It's Ulish Feng, a very old pilot, but he's still young in his mind. I think. He flew ahead in this blue day, pulling, I would say, pulling all the other gliders behind. And he went to the Lake Saint Croix, and he was so low that he was off the cliff over the lake already. I had this feeling that he was already below the level of the land, of the plateau. He said he saw a paraglider there. So there was a lift. They found not a strong one, but it was climbing. And a few minutes later, all the other gliders joined them, but already on much higher altitude. So, but this is an example. If there was no cliff, this solo flight in front would end in outlanding. Yes. So that's really difficult to escape when you have this rule. And so, but I like this competition very much more than other sometimes, because the atmosphere was very good, and we have to thank very much a lot to Regis Kunz and Aria, the local pilot, the local instructor, Roger. Sorry, they were setting tasks, but they were listening to pilots. When we had a problem, when we thought something is too dangerous, too difficult, or unclear, and we asked them, they changed it.
Right.
For example, there was an airspace which was defined as above ground. For us, it doesn't mean anything, because you don't have a reference. We don't know how high is the ground, so we would have to avoid it with a huge margin. So they changed it immediately to airspace with defined altitude. Yeah. That was one example. The other one is we had a task which was the last part, crossing the mountain range quite high, and then we would have too much altitude to the finish line. It would end flying like 300 kilometers per hour to the finish. So it's above VNE, so allowed speed of the glider. And they changed it also very quickly. So that's a good example, and it was making a very nice atmosphere in this competition. We had no problems. We have been flying in beautiful surrounding, in beautiful landscape. In contrary, I have to say that there was a competition where we had a ridge, very strong ridge, not far from finish, with the rotor adding to it. And some pilots, they flew over VNE, and the comment from the sporting director was, "We had great fun watching it." Really, that is amazing, and that is the opposite side. So you see, this is the example of how it should be. So because they said you are the best pilots in the world, and it's your responsibility, and we had great fun watching it. So that's not the way they should make it in competition, and I like this way very much.
So moving forward, you think there's going to be a change afoot for how things are done? People are going to watch this championships, hopefully, and see how to move forward.
It's up to you. You have to, you are the air sports promotion, you have to promote it. I see very nice picture of the Dubai behind.
Yes.
Probably I've been also sitting in this glider as well.
I think you're in there. I think that's you.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
It was a very good promotion. The gold medal is a gold medal, so we have to do the best what we can with it. I hope some TV stations and also because there was a good coverage in this competition, that we have a lot of pictures, a lot of movies of that we can share.
Yes.
And it was a very nice surrounding. This was a really nice competition, so I think this will move forward.
And I think as well, there's been a lot of comments on Facebook. A lot of the fans have really enjoyed the coverage with the live stream and the commentary from the experts. That's been very well received.
Yeah. What was a little bit missing for the glider pilots, one picture, one live picture from the cockpit would explain a lot.
Yeah.
So in this simulation, they don't really see which clouds we are aiming for, what is in the sky, and that's part of the game, which is very important. You know, if you don't include it in the simulation, it's not so clear what's going on there. Yeah, because also we can have impression that some gliders are faster, the other are not so good, and in simulation, everything is smooth. There is nothing, But in reality, you have some clouds, you have some gas, you have some influence of the ridge, some updrafts. So this changes everything, and it's part of the game. So just a few pictures would added to the simulation would make it a little bit more interesting for real experts, for real pilots who know what's going on in the sky.
Yeah, good. Well, let's hope they can do that in the future. What's coming up next for you, Sebastian? What's going to happen over the next few weeks and months?
I don't know. Going back to work. I have to say, because of the COVID situation, I had no plans for this year at all. And then one competition in Germany was cancelled. So instead of it, I have been invited because I wanted to fly in the competition which was cancelled. So there were not many pilots qualified for the Grand Prix, and I've been invited instead. So that was something that happened in the last moment. So I didn't have even a glider for this competition. That was the story, because I was supposed to fly 18-meter new Diana 3 glider. We can talk about it later, maybe. I made a few flights. And this year, with the new piece, I made one comparison flight with JS3. I've been quite happy with this glider, but unfortunately, they decided the glider is not ready for competition. There is no papers, so some flight tests have to be done, and there is a speed limit. So maybe 3 days before I go, I had no glider. But unfortunately, Oliver Springer offered his own glider for free for me. It was Alexander Schleicher 33 with electric modification of the starter for the solo engine. And this worked quite fine. I have to say that this was maybe one of the best gliders, maybe the best glider in this competition. I had a chance to make few flights in parallel with JS3 and JS1, and this one was better. I also flew with Mario Kisling, and I'm not sure if his glider maybe was faster, but we have to say also that in Grand Prix, we have a very unfair rule for new gliders, because to increase the performance of the gliders, the only thing to do is to produce a new airfoil, which gives the better lift. so you can make the wing smaller, and has a less drag because the wing is smaller and has the less drag in straight flight.
Yeah.
So if you have this glider, in this competition, there is a rule that you have a wing loading. So it is kilograms per square meter. I don't know who invented this rule, but it's very unfair for new gliders, which are usually smaller than the old ones. And this is painful because I was 72 kilograms lighter in this competition than the JS1, and this is a huge difference. In straight flight, the heavier glider you have, the better it is. So I could put only 12 liters in my wings.
Yeah.
Because the glider itself, if you make a smaller glider, it is usually heavier because the thickness of the wing is smaller also. So
Yes.
You have to put more, it has to be stiff. So you have to put more material, more carbon. And it was a little bit heavier. So I didn't have any margin. So just 12 liters and that's it. Yeah. And this glider performed very nice in thermals and in straight flight. So the replacement of the Diana tree turned out to be also very, very good. And I have to say the comparison of Diana tree and the JS was also promising for me. I decided to go with this Diana, but surprisingly, the Diana tree was much better than the JS tree, above 220 kilometers per hour. So that was a surprise for me. And the difference was so big that I was surprised. So this glider would be nice also to fly in this competition.
Yes. Well, maybe next time in the Diana 3, you think?
Oh, yeah, we will see.
Yeah.
But I had a very nice glider. I'm happy to fly it. I had almost maiden flight with it. It is quite new. 2 hours before the competition only.
Wow.
So I tripled or quadrupled the amount of hours of this glider after this competition, and it was a wonderful experience to fly it. It climbs very well, and also the performance in straight was with this bad rules for this glider because it's very small. The wing is only 10 square meters. 480 kilograms in these rules. The performance was very good.
Well, Sebastian, fascinating stuff. What a great conversation. I want to thank you very much, and I'm going to let you get back on the road. I know you've got a big day of driving ahead of you. But Sebastian Kawa, champion sailplane Grand Prix, thank you very much for joining us on Air Sports News.
Thank you very much.